Hello, I'm back today with UberChic Beauty Collection 23. And if you just want a quick look at the collection, let me go on ahead and do that. That's 2301. And then this is 2302. And then we've got 2303. All right, and then let me jump on in here. So this is winter as I'm reviewing this originally, so I've still got like winter colors in mind. She's getting more and more complex with her layering images, and I love that. So here she's given us layers to do basket weaves. So this is meant to be with two different colors, and it's going to weave over one another and give the look of that basket. Similar kind of thing here. You could just use these to like a brick work pattern if you wanted something like that. I think you could also stamp this on top of that. So you could stamp like this in light, you could stamp this in like light blue and then that on top of it in dark blue. And I think that that could be a really interesting pattern too. So play around with that. Love this. These kinds of things always look like pinwheels to me, and you've got the isolated one there. Great to put over glitters or hollows if you want them to just shine, and you don't have to do anything else. If you want like if you've got a glitter you want to show, I'd use this one. This one you can do over a hollow, but it would be harder to really let your glitter show. You can use this to pop out some color in these designs or to just mix and match. I adore geometrics like this. This has almost like an Art Deco feel, and it has that kind of 3D look to it. I think those are really cool, and I love that you get two different angles here. This is one of the things I mean about her getting a little bit more complex with her layering images. So she's always done these gorgeous flowers, but now she's giving you these layering images so that you can easily color that flower in without having to do a whole decal. You can just quickly boom boom and you're done. And she's given you three different angles, but they're all complementary, so that makes it easy to do a manicure where you've got a bunch of different designs on the different nails and it looks complex, but you don't, but it's easy to do because you have the three different little designs there. And then you've got a full nail if you want to play around with that, and you've got this huge bigger one over here that mixes and matches as well. Love this negative space if you want that hollow to shine. And she's got this negative space image over here, so you can mix and match all of that, and just even that alone is a ton of potential for different kinds of looks if you like that flower. I love this. I think this almost looks like hearts, so really cool for Valentine's Day. Really cool kind of Celtic knot feel to it, so I would definitely play around with that. Love this like almost like clover kind of flowers. That could be fun. Before we know it, St. Patrick's Day is going to be here, so that keep that in mind in the back of your head. That over a green hollow would be a gorgeous St. Valentine's Day mani. And then here's this little image that it actually goes with this one over here, but I think it could you could mix and match with that as well. And speaking of this, you could stamp this in one color over your nails, stamp this right, pop it right over this one here, so you get a pop of color. That would be very easy. Do it over a couple of different places, super easy. I love the intricacy to this. And then when you get up closer and it focuses more on the triangles here, this to me also looks very tropical, like the kind of, it's not tropical, but it's that sort of like the Hawaiian shirt-y print kind of feel. So for summer, I think this could be really gorgeous in, oranges and yellows and greens and pinks. I think that could be a lot of fun. But you could also, for winter, go with jewel tones, or even just, whites and purples could be really gorgeous with this. Love this both. I like that some are open, some are closed. It also makes me wonder if you could invert, rotate this image and do a layering image where these are stamped over those. I don't know. I'd have to try it out, but it's a possibility. This would be fun to play around with gemstones, the triangle-shaped gemstones. Just pop like one on your nail with all of these, or go in and just pop one with color. You can tell I'm really into popping just one element out. And you can do the same thing here. You've got this little image up here that goes along with this. So, you could stamp a bunch of these on one nail, do a collage, maybe just stamp one in your half moon. That's one of the things I like to do. And then stamp your other nails with this. I love this that looks like it looks like a cube, but also it could look like a hexagon. So if you throw a hex glitter in the center of that, that's going to be very, very cute, and it's going to change the look. Or you could play up the square aspect to it, and then of course another flower down here that matches these. So pretty. All right, here is 2302. Here's another layering image that's a little bit more on the complex side. This is a buffalo check. So the buffalo checks are the kinds where it's like white stripes and black, and then the white and the black intersect in gray. So the basic idea is that you've got two different colors of the checks. So you're going to be putting this so where like these four checks are going to go in between here, the intersection, like the intersection here where that cross is. So that gives you a different kind of check that you can do, a little bit more complex check. Love this and this with the kind of, it's whimsical, it's not perfectly drawn. I love that kind of look. And then, ironically, I love how, like, I don't know, this has almost a deco feel. Almost it feels like something that MC Escher would have done. And you could play around with sort of sci-fi-ish colors, olive greens and deep rich purples, or black, gorgeous dark black polishes with glitters or hollows to really make that look sci-fi. I think that would be totally cool. Negative image with Dotacure, you can still use that for a guided Dotacure, or to just do a string of some dots. So play around with that. And while I'm on the topic, I absolutely suggest that you play around with these as, you know, just as they are, but as Dotacures. Because how cool would it be to stamp this and then go through and just like on each of the edges do, you know, dots of color. So maybe you stamp this in pale green, and then on each of the edges you go in and you just with your dotting tool make it those all dark green. How cool would that be? Or you could do on just one, you could go in and, you know, maybe do a pattern like up across pattern in there. There's so many things you could do with that. And the same thing with these. You could just color in one of these flowers and leave the rest a different color. You could go in and just do the dots one color, or you could do the dot one color, and then the next ring a different color, and then a third ring of color there on all of them, or just some of them. Play around. Always, always, always when they give you dots, look for those potentials there. So there's a number of things on these plates that have this try. So I think, in my opinion, I think this also goes along with this. You could mix and match those because that trifold element, I think, works together. I love how the pattern changes whether you're super close in or farther out. And I love that she gives you the option to play with that. And then you've got your isolated one over here. A little bit of scribbles. This could be a ton of things. It could be like, if, you know, for a Halloween mani, it could be little worms. It could be worms if you're doing like a fishing mani. You could make it, you know, you could just use this for texture, which I think would be so great for texture. Oh my gosh. You could, like, so for example, let's say you had a white background and you stamped this in light pink, and then you stamped those in dark pink over it. That would be such a cute mani and so easy. And then here, this is a layering image, so you can layer this over this, and that'll make the insides of these just kind of pop up. I love this just on its own. I mean, I love both of them, but I really love that one just on its own. And here's another try, you know, with this try kind of triangular thing that she gives you the various shapes. This one has almost like an African tribal feel to me. Well, so does this one. Anyway, you can mix and match that and that. I think they look good together. And again, still with that one, you could still play around with that because that pulls it together, that element. And then we've basically got this 4-part layering image. So she's just really going for it. She's giving you so much you can do. So, you know, you don't have to use all 4 of these. As a matter of fact, that might get a little bit messy, but you could use this one and this one. You could use this one and this one. You could put this one over this one to just get the center as a different color. You could just put this inside this one. You could layer all 4 of them. And then she's got, you know, this little one here that matches. So play around with that. So much opportunity, so much that you can do with that. And it's almost, I mean, obviously not infinite, but so many different possibilities. So play around with that. And then she's got this, so you can break up the stem and the flower however you want it. And then of course that matches that. I love this checkered with the lines going the wrong way. I think, again, that's a super easy mani to just throw one pass over something. Gorgeous. A lot of fun, and it could also be great for, like with Valentine's Day, you could stamp a heart over each of these centers. So stamp this in a lighter color, stamp your heart over in a darker color, put flowers. You could put like this image here over in the centers whatever you want to play with. So don't forget to think about those layering possibilities. Love this. This looks like a gemstone setting to me. So gorgeous. And especially this one, you could put like a little rhinestone. This might be a little too small. I'm not sure if I have rhinestones that small. I have to check it out. But even if you just went in with like a dot of a different polish, like red or whatever, to make it look like a gem, that would be gorgeous. And I almost forgot, I skipped by these. I love this hello and I love the arrows. And in her last collection, she had a ton of different arrows. So play around with that and go back and mix and match, because, and then I just think this is really cute, especially for, you know, the new year, the beginning of the new year, spring, new beginnings. I love that kind of hello. And I love mixing and matching that with like the whimsical stuff. These flowers, which I did not mention, which are gorgeous. And again, you can go in like with silver, you could go in with like little half pearls, you could go in just with your dotting tool. All right, 2303. Right off the bat, when I look at this, I see beautiful like Asian lanterns, so like Japanese style lanterns, or the lanterns in the Chinese New Year's parade. So if you're doing like a Chinese New Year's manicure, that would be absolutely beautiful in that. Also, it kind of looks like brush strokes of calligraphy or kanji to me, so I would play around with that. But of course, you can just use it for any kind of background, any kind of texture. I love the fronds on this. Also could be really cute texture. Also would go well, I think, for Valentine's Day with, you know, hearts and other kinds of romantic images. It really has a romantic feel to it. And I get the same vibe from this. Use this as background. Stamp other things, flowers, hearts, whatever up on top of it. Great background image. And then you've got this here that goes with this here. And okay, this my brain is so weird. So it does a couple things. Like I see kind of like a bamboo almost feel to this. And then I also see handcuffs. So yeah, let's not examine that too closely. Love the leaves with the fronds, and again, dots that you can play around with. Great for any time of year, depending on the colors you want to use. I love this for texture. I also think it looks like snow. Maybe because it's winter and that's just where my brain is, but I feel like it looks like icicles or snow peaks, and, you know, maybe, I don't know how you would do it to make it look like it's perfectly coming down. I don't even think you have to. It also kind of looks like frosting coming down off of something, so I say play with that. Love this for Halloween. I'm going to take this and I'm going to turn this into an eyeball that's looking out that way with like veins. Oh yes, you know I am. But if you're a normal person, it looks like, you know, berries, any kind of sphere. It's just this really gorgeous, rich texture with these lines. So again, you could stamp things on top of it. You could put little hearts there. You could even put like that over them, would be kind of cute. This over it would be cute. Play around with that. Love the very linear flowers in this, and I think that would match well with a number of things on this plate. Like this, it could even match around with that. So I love this. I think this is great for texture. Put it under everything. Love, 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 love. Love how this kind of goes up with those. So you could have all of this, you know, you could have this on 2 nails, put this in your half moon or something really, really cute. Bubbles for any kind of sea, underwater mani. Again, placements for dodicures. Play around with that. So this has the look of like dandelion fronds to me, so you could stamp things on top of it. You could leave it as is. It's really geometric. I think you can mix and match with other geometrics you have too. Here are like the cabbage roses. Love this. I think that also, for some reason, it really goes well with this one to me. And I think it really goes well with this up here. I think those two look really, really cool together. They're not a negative and positive of each other, but it has that feel as though they are. Got some cabbage roses here to play around with that, and then we've got some brocade, some gorgeous negative, positive, and then in this case kind of half negative, half positive to let some beautiful stuff shine through. Love that this one is just leafy fronds. That is so classic and it's so vintage. Play around with vintage colors with this. Anything that looks like it could be up on a Victorian wall, especially in winter when you're playing around with winter colors. I think all of these go so beautifully with winter colors. I also am really feeling peach stamped over white or white stamped over peach with these lately. So that's another option for you if you're looking around at pastels. I could see sort of a chalky white stamped over kind of like a sage green for the upcoming spring pastels. Gorgeous. Another negative positive that you can play around with. I see bold colors when I look at that. Love this patchwork quilt with the lines, and I think that goes really beautifully with that. So if you want some more that you can play around with, you can definitely play around with that. This is another one. My head obviously is filled with Valentine's because I'm reviewing the Love and Marriage plate at the same time. So white mani, stamp this in pink, stamp heart pattern over it in red, you know, or different kinds of colors, but use these as background images very, very simply. And then simple little chain of flowers, almost a chintz feel, and then your isolated one over here that you can play around with. Okay, so all of her full nail images are 1.7 centimeters by 2.1 centimeters. And then here is a look at how big those center images are. And then on plate 2302, there you go. And then on 2301, there you go. All right, for my stamping test, I am going to use Sally Hansen Insta-Dry in Midnight Drive. I don't think you can read that. I'm going to use Time is Money for the layering image. And I am going to use my clear stamper. All right, there's the first layer. There you go. And there's how that second layer would fit in. So obviously if you used colors that were a little bit more complementary, it would be you know, a more uniform look, but I wanted to make sure that you could see this really well in the review. First layer of the flower, and there it is on the nail. And then there's the second layer. And there is the flower. That's a combination of solids and thins, which can be tricky. And on the nail. All right, let's move on to 2302. So that's some really tiny detail there. Nice transfer. And there's that pretty flower. The scribble flower, gorgeous. All those fine lines, gorgeous. Excellent transfer. Love that so hard. And that dot, that is so much fun. Right, and then finally 2303, gorgeous with those big bold areas. Love, love, love. Those fine lines, and they look gorgeous. Nail, I slanted them a little bit, tested a negative space. It doesn't get better than that. Love it, love, love, love. So, as always, excellent quality for this collection. Just loving all the images, excellent quality. I will link everything down below, and thank you for watching.